Joined now by Karol Markowicz. We got a bunch to get into with her. New York Post columnist, Florida resident now, mother of three, also a part of the C&B Podcast Network. Encourage all of you to go listen to her and her podcast, but we are happy to have her join us now. And Karol, you've had a bunch of interesting stories and or thoughts up recently. And the one I want to start with is we've talked about this with you for a while, how Jewish voters are going to respond in the 2024 election.
Mhm.
And you have a new prediction I saw where, based on conversations you've been having, and clearly one of the challenges in general with predicting anything is almost everything is going to be anecdotal on some level when you talk about your
Mhm.
personal experiences, no matter who you are, because you can't have tens of thousands of people that you're interacting with. But what are you picking up on, Karol, when it comes to the Jewish vote?
Hi, guys. So nice to be on with you. Well, I've been pretty optimistic, but kind of measured about it. Trump got 30% of the Jewish vote in 2020. So I saw him going up to 38%, which is a large jump. An 8% jump is significant. It's also tough with the Jewish vote because we're such a small percentage of the population. We're under 1% of the country, or about one, a little over one, actually. Um, and it's hard to measure because it relies on exit polls. Somebody who's voting Republican for the first time might not want to tell an exit pollster the truth. So all of that being said, I'm noticing that a lot of very well-known Jews are openly voting for Donald Trump, even if they have been liberals in the past. And then other prominent Jews are just not talking about it, which is also significant because they would be exactly the kind of people who would be talking about who they're voting for in other elections. The fact that they're so quiet really makes me feel like he might break the 40% barrier.
Carol, when you speak to and I, you and I share a lot of right wing Jewish friends, but when you
Hmm.
speak to around Democrat, left wing Jews in this country, do they disagree with the notion that there is substantial anti-Semitism that is sort of protected and coddled within the Democrat Party, or do they just
Hmm.
not care there are other things that make them still vote Democrat? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
How does that decision-making process go based on your conversations within the community?
For a lot of these people, being a Democrat is their first piece of identity. So even before being Jewish, they relate to themselves as Democrats. And that's a tough thing to break. Look, I'm a lifelong conservative. I wondered to myself, if I woke up on October 7th and it was Republicans dancing in the streets and being excited about Jews being murdered in Israel, what would I think? What would I rethink in my life? And it would require a full rethink. It wouldn't just be like, oh, I'm going to switch my party allegiance on this one issue. It ends up being everything because it's not just about Israel, right? It's about anti-Semitism in America. It's about being able to protect yourself in America. So suddenly your views on guns will have to change. It leads to all these different issues that it takes time for people to change on. And I think that a lot of these people, again, consider themselves Democrats to their core. And it is a tough jump for them to make. I hope that more of them make it. And I'm actually proud to see so many people just openly changing their position. There's a prominent Jewish influencer, Lizzie Savetsky. She's taking a ton of hits, but she's being very openly pro-Trump. I think in previous elections, I don't know for sure, but I think she voted all Democrats. And for her to say, look, this matters to me, this man has made me vote for him because of his policies and because of his ideas, it is a big, significant change from the past.
We're talking to Karol Markowicz. Karol, a story that has not been getting a ton of attention,
Hmm.
probably because of some of the details. Chicago,
Yeah.
a Orthodox Jewish man, I believe, was attacked by an illegal immigrant,
Hmm.
and the man was virulently anti-Semitic. It wasn't a random act of violence; it was directly targeted at him because he was Jewish. For
That's
our
right.
audience that may not have heard about this, you've been breaking stories on it. What
Hmm.
should they know?
So his name is Sidi Mohammed Abdali, and he shot an Orthodox man who was on his way to synagogue on Saturday. He shouted Allah Akbar as he did it, which is, a very common thing that Muslim fundamentalists shout as they're committing crimes and attacking people. The story that I broke and that isn't anywhere else right now is that this Abdali man is an illegal immigrant. He crossed our southern border a year and a half ago. I have this from a very solid tipster, but it hasn't been confirmed elsewhere. Nobody wants to confirm more than I do. I hate breaking news, but here that's the role I'm playing here. So I think why it's being underplayed. A, it's in Chicago. B, it's a attack that should be called a hate crime, but for some reason is not. And C, we're a few days out from the election. To have another illegal immigrant commit a crime like this would be bad for Kamala Harris. So the media is downplaying it. The Chicago politicians are downplaying it. Everybody's kind of muted on this. I think if it was happening at a different time, it'd be a much bigger story. But they're trying to protect Kamala Harris from her bad policies, and so you have a quiet story like this.
Karol, you may not have seen this yet. Bill Malugin at Fox News and Griff Jenkins have also now confirmed your breaking story.
Excellent.
And what he just tweeted out a little bit ago was, per four law enforcement sources, the suspect charged with shooting a Jewish man as he walked to a Chicago synagogue is a Mauritanian illegal alien caught and released in Border Patrol San Diego, California sector in March of 23. Again, this guy walked up to an Orthodox Jew and shot him. And so that story, again, Bill Malugin has put that out. Okay. And so your aspect of that story, Fox News has also backed it up.
Excellent. I knew he was from Northwest Africa, but I didn't have the country. So Mauritania, just looked it up. It is in the Northwest. So I'm glad I got that right.
Karol, you're also all over the story about the destroyed ballots in Oregon and Washington. And how does Free Gaza play into all of this?
So the devices that were in the ballot machines that were devised specifically to burn the ballots and not explode, which is an interesting point. They were made with thermite, and they were planted in these drop-off ballot boxes. Now, the thing is that these drop-off ballot boxes, to me, they're in peril even without a fancy device. I don't know why this has to be the case. I think that we should go back to a system where we vote in a secure location and those ballots are secured. These people who had their ballots burned aren't even going to know whether or not they voted or not. And these devices had Free Gaza written on it. That story was confirmed yesterday. And, you know, these are blue states. These aren't swing states. So the idea that these were going to be MAGA people burning these ballots didn't make a lot of sense anyway. It feels very Antifa, very causing chaos, and the Free Gaza graffiti on the devices really adds to that impression.
Karol, if you voted early, we're now 6 days out. Do you have a strong read again on what you think is likely to happen in the election?
I did vote early. Day one, I voted for Donald Trump. I feel very good about my vote. I thought he absolutely earned it, and I couldn't wait to vote. So day one, I went out there and I did it. I'm feeling optimistic. I am somewhat of a superstitious. I was born in Russia, so I have a very superstitious gene. I don't talk about it too much. That I think I'm feeling good about it. I think that he is positioned very well to win. I hope their ground game matches kind of the momentum that we're seeing around the country, because that's really what it all comes down to. Getting your voters to the polls is the whole ball game. And as long as they have their ground game really set for Tuesday, and I think for this early voting numbers are really going his way, I think we're going to have a victory on election night.
I hope that you are right. What else would you tell people out there about the podcast and how to follow you?
Well, I have two podcasts on the Clay Travis and Buck Sexton Podcast Network. I have the Karol Markowicz Show, where I ask political people non-political questions. And I have the podcast that I co-host with Mary Catherine Ham, Normally, where we break down the news of the day. Normally is out Tuesdays and Thursdays. Karol Markowicz Show is out Mondays and Thursdays. Love being on your network. It's been an amazing year.
And by the way, Allie says she loves Normally, and I know there are a lot of moms out there that listen to this show that may feel like their normal lives are not talked about very frequently. And I think you and Mary Catherine Ham are doing a fantastic job of connecting with many of those people out there that might not have an audience that they feel like connects with them otherwise.
Thanks so much. That's what we're trying to do here. We're trying to have the normal perspective for normal people.
What are your kids going to be for Halloween, by the way? Tomorrow's Halloween. Are they gung ho about this? Mine are. Yeah, it's going to be a big deal.
So my youngest is going to be a caveman because he likes to have no shirt on, and that's what Florida Halloween is usually that.
Yes.
My middle son is going to be Scrooge McDuck. He likes to have quirky costumes. Nobody knows what they are.
That's great.
Not bad. And my teenager, I think she's going to wear a unicorn horn and pretend not to enjoy trick-or-treating while her and her friends really actually like it quite a bit.
No doubt. Y'all have a good time down there. I know the weather's going to be great. Weather's going to be great here. I can't wait. I'm a big Halloween guy.
Excellent. What are you going to be?
Laura and I were Ferris Bueller and Sloan Peterson. So for anybody out there that watched Ferris Bueller's Day Off, I think it came off pretty well. And we had a Halloween party on Friday, had a great time, and I'll be dressed up, I think, tomorrow for some of the shows that I'm doing, and then to help give out trick-or-treating and walk around with my 10-year-old. So that's the plan here.
Love it. Excellent. Have a great Halloween.
Hey, you too, Karol. And we'll talk to you again soon. Keep up the good work on the podcast and more. Look, if you're out there, maybe you're going to have a late night on Halloween. I think a lot of you probably are. And then maybe you have an early turn on Friday, get into the office, chasing around kids or grandkids on Halloween. Maybe you're just going to stay up late, sitting on the front porch, giving out trick-or-treats. Maybe you're watching some of the World Series late at night. Maybe you're staying up late for a lot of these college football games, go all hours. Maybe you're just dragging a little bit because you've been working hard through the election season. Maybe you just need a little bit more testosterone in your life. That is what Chalk does. CHOQ is the website. They're giving men in this country with supplements that can provide vigor, drive, energy, and increase your testosterone by 20% over the life of your 3 months. That's a big deal. 3 months, you can increase all natural your testosterone level by 20%. Make a tremendous difference in the engine of your body because testosterone is what drives much of the energy that fuels male activity. If you would like to have a little bit more strength, a little bit more vim, vigor, and vitality in your life, you need to check out Chalk. This month, October, every new subscription comes with a free surprise product on top of a massive lifetime discount. Use my name, Clay, for both lifetime discount and the free surprise gift. And maybe you don't want to go direct to the website. Maybe you'd like to talk to somebody. You can call or text 50-CHALK-3000 now. Say Clay and Buck sent me. That's 50-CHALK-3000. And their U.S.-based customer service team standing by to assist you. That is chalk.com, 50-CHALK-3000. Use my name, Clay. Get hooked up with a lifetime special on subscriptions and a free gift for October only.